I joined MBIS at that time around 2011, I think. I was there until 2014. And then I graduated and moved to the US. And so again, those 3 years were fantastic. I had the time of my life here in the school. I met amazing people, close friends. Some of them are still my closest friends, still date. And then I moved to the US for undergrad. So I was in Boston, studying at Boston University. I spent 4 years there studying biomedical engineering, and then I moved to California to do my first job, which was in a Fortune 500 medical device company. I worked there for a few years, moved to another company, medical devices, and then I moved back to the East Coast to New York to do my MBA from Columbia Business School. So I was in New York for about 2 years, and then I sort of moved back to California to join the family business. And ever since, I've sort of been moving, shuttling between California and India for work. And I'm here in India today for the same. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be part of it. Being selected in amongst the 30 people from India. India, one, is such a populated country and also such a talented country, and just being one of the 30 to be shortlisted and selected is just, a prestige and honor for me. And that sort of gives me motivation, and the fact that not just me but other people are also recognizing what I'm doing and valuing my efforts and the output that I'm giving, and so it just sort of pushes me to do more. The other peers, the other 29 of them from that list are extremely talented individuals, and I'm just really happy to be part of that list amongst the 30 this year. A lot, actually. So MBIS, MIS, it's first of all, it's such a small knit, tight group. So I have fond memories of interacting with everyone from classroom, my student peers in my classroom, to even teachers and to all the staff. And so I had a fantastic time here. And I think the one really important thing that I learned, and I'm sure a lot of people here have learned, is how to think in a more open-minded, creative way rather than a more structured and a more memory-based approach. And topics like theory of knowledge at that time really seemed annoying as a kid, right? We were really annoyed as to what are you making us think? What is this philosophical way of thinking? But today, as I look back at it, that really set the whole foundation for how I thought and how I approach life and business, of course. And really build that modular approach where you're not. So you build that foundation so sturdy, and that's what MBI has taught me, that it's really easy to build on top of it. And that's exactly that one important life skill that MIS gave to me that I really didn't think I had before. And that's one of the reasons why I am where I am today, and I'm really grateful for that. I don't remember the specific names, but I do I remember a feeling though, and I do remember that. I know people used to ask me, because I transitioned to IB, and they used to ask me how the difference was and was it beneficial to us. So a lot of people ask me, was that your IB education really beneficial to you, or was it just 3 years of fun with like-minded peers? And I sure, it was a lot of fun as well, and we had academics as well as other extracurricular activities also. But I think time at MIS and the IB sort of principles and fundamentals really taught me how to think as not just with one kind of personality, but with a whole well-rounded kind of approach to things in general. From of course the structured and the professional way of thinking of things, but also the empathetic way of thinking of things, but also the more philosophical way, the more strategical way, and even like building upon all the history that we have as either now if it's for business, sort of looking at the historicals and using that to sort of map how you go ahead in projection. So and just life skills in general, I realized that it made me a much more whole, well-rounded whole person. And that's just not helped me in college. I mean, that was that actually helped me transition so much easier into college. It was the culture shock was not even a thing when I went to college in Boston, because of what I'd already learned as part of MBI's MIS. And even in business and life in general, I think that really I'm really happy to and lucky to have been part of the school at that time, because that was really a good foundation and a building block for me. What I do remember, again, I'm going to go back to the feeling that I remember from that. I remember thinking about that this is the first time I'm having to think in such a different way when I'm writing an essay, or even I'm creating any sort of assignment. It made me realize that there are not just one way of approaching something, but there's sort of 5 different ways of approaching specific topic or an assignment or anything in life in general. And I keep on bringing it back to life because those principles, sure, they may have been a specific set of, principles or ways of doing things back in the day, but I think that sort of shaped who I am today as well. So extended essay, my TOK essay, or, my other assignments that I did as part of NYP and DP, I think really made me, it was the first time I was sort of thinking in such a, creative and vivid way, and there was no, structure to it, in the sense that earlier, I was really used to sort of, oh, this is exactly how things are done, but this time I was told that the way you look at it is the way, that this should be done. And it really gave me the freedom to believe in my abilities to be creative and believe in my sort of ways to think out of the box, and really gave me the confidence that, thinking outside the box is actually, beneficial for anybody. So, yeah. There's a few actually, because we did a lot of fun things. I remember once we were, well, two things. Once I remember, as part of our pre-graduation spirit week, we used to have that, and I don't know if it's still there, but we all dressed up in it was like a whole Halloween kind of week where we sort of dressed up in different outfits for the theme of that day, for that whole week. And one time we all decided that it was really hot also, and also we were all wearing, I think, really heavy Indian clothes, because it was like I think it was like a retro theme that day. And I was just looking downstairs at the pool, and I realized, I remember that story. It's like we all in the afternoon decided that this is too hot. We're not able to handle these Indian clothes in this heat. And so we all decided to jump in the pool at the same time, all in one line. It was ridiculous, but it was the most fun we have had. And looking at the pool right now also, it just made me think of that time. We also shot some documentaries and films in these halls as part of some projects. I remember we made this really cool trailer for a documentary that we were creating as part of a project, of course, at school, about, I think it was about mental health and psychology based. And so I remember creating really cool suspense-filled trailers, and like we made all the staff act in it, and we made all like random students, we picked them and we're like, oh, act serious or do this or do that. And we had a lot of filming locations all around school. So we had a really, when I was coming from the lobby, that lobby was our main first opening act was shot there. So it just brings back really fond memories and really fun times we've had in this campus. So I would say that, one, I feel like you're prepared, and be assured that you're prepared, because the school does prepare you really well for the outside world, especially for college. Because when I was in DP, I was really scared as to, oh my God, how's the transition going to be? Am I ready for this? Of course, as a DP student, you're thinking about all of applications, essays, and also maintaining your grades, but also having fun, and also that whole change, right, from high school to college. And so it's a lot, and I went through that as well. But what I realized, now looking back at it, is that I was already prepared in DP1 because the school prepared me. So just be assured that you're in good hands. The teachers, the staff, the advisors here are really good. They know what they're talking about. And at that time also, that their guidance made me sort of calm down a little bit, because I felt like they knew where to go for me to go and what to do, and I sort of felt comfortable. So I think you're in good hands, and I think everything that you're learning right now, it may seem ridiculous sometimes, thinking philosophically, you're thinking from different approaches, or, doing these, non-traditional courses, or just, thinking in a different way. But it really, now I'm looking back at it, in hindsight, retrospectively, and it really prepared me for what I am today. And I really, really, a lot of that credit goes to the school. So I think you're in good hands, and just, I think, take in as much as you can in these last 2 years, and just don't forget to have fun.